Seeing quite a few rappers come and go for various reasons. Some really have no other choice but to fall into irrelevance because they were basically a gimmick.
In the moonlight, in the spotlight.
Yeah.
I really want limelight.
Yeah.
Others get tired of fame and decide to bow out of the limelight. Sadly, a few have tragic endings to their career.
Shout out my nigga Ed. I
Sometimes
missed
the
that
rapper
nigga.
just loses popularity because of a change in what the general audience is interested in. But one of the most rare phenomena is when a rapper becomes a meme. Because I think there is no faster way for the general public to stop taking you seriously. Look at someone like Logic, who became a biracial 1-800-JOKE after an album that received mixed reviews.
Logic over 1 billion streams joins us tonight to talk about biracial rappers.
You know who Logic is?
Black and white, biracial, a black father and a white mother.
Before this record came out, he was much more heavily respected, and while he is still cutting some great records till this day, it's safe to say that the general public has made him more or less someone to not be taken seriously. This brings me to the main topic of today's video.
Chance. I used to love Chance. He got that one song. If one more label gonna stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in the lobby. Hood, you know what? No problem. That was the song called. That
Chance
shit
the
was
rapper,
banging.
who I actually feel draws
That
a lot
song.
of comparisons to Logic when it comes to his career. Recently, it was the 10-year anniversary of the mixtape that really put him on, Acid Rap. It's hard to believe it's been a decade since this dropped because I still remember that era like it was yesterday.
It's called Acid Rap.
Yeah.
Because I started doing a lot of LSD when I started on the project.
I was in college, and as you can imagine, this mixtape was an anthem for me, as much like Chance, I was experiencing all new things being away from home. I had never heard anyone rap like this. Everything from the beats, to the melodies, to his voice, was someone conventional.
Chance, a vibe of a little bit Kanye West, but newer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, no. What's that song, Day and Night?
I know which one you're talking about. I haven't. I don't know what the group's
Kid
called.
Cudi, I think that's who made it. No, I don't know who made it. But, like, that's what type of music Chance I used to remember.
That it somehow worked.
I'm off that local. I'm on that global. I often have dreams of being locked in my mama's Volvo, watching the garage burn down. Chance Bennett, a peculiar name. Graduation night, teacher's favorites Buell at my name. You made a mixtape? Good job. I hope you get a good job. We was all outcasts, only listen to good mob.
Now you have to remember, a decade ago in 2013, the internet was a lot different, and to get discovered, a lot of new rappers were going the SoundCloud, DatPiff, mixtape route. This was also during the blog era, where these different websites like This Song Is Sick and Two Dope Boys were really instrumental in helping these new rappers get some buzz surrounding their name. Till this day, Acid Rap is one of the most successful DatPiff releases of all time, garnering over 1,500,000 downloads on that platform alone.
I'm still a chain smoking, name dropping, good looking motherfucker.
And the reason it was called Acid Rap was because a good chunk of the time that Chance was creating this album, he was on a tab and other mind-altering substances. Now this was not actually Chance's first attempt.
Yeah, New York. Have you ever did the tab?
No, I never messed with that. I messed with shrooms, but I stayed away from that acid, man. I didn't fuck with that.
Never ever?
Nah, I saw my homie like fucking straddling a pillow for like 30 minutes. Homie looked like he was homie looked like he was ready to be beamed up from the fucking roof by some aliens and shit. I said, yeah, I can see what other people would see me like, so I'm not gonna fuck with that.
Okay. Just had to make sure.
Music, as he had previously released 2 other mixtapes by the name of Good Enough, and of course the infamous 10 Day, which was a decent project in itself that gained him some traction, and mainly served to prove to listeners that he could actually make some decent music, and really have something to say. Interestingly enough, the album is called 10 Day because Chance was suspended from school for 10 days after they caught him smoking, and that's when the inspiration for this mixtape began.
Wow.
At this time, he showed a ton of potential for someone still in high school, and Chance saw this as a major turning point in his life.
And then he just happened to see us smoking, emptied out our bags and shit.
He could have either arrested us or he could have got us suspended, but he did both. He took me to the school,
Dang,
told on me, got me
that
10 day
sucks.
suspension, and took me to the.
Imagine getting suspended, then getting taken to jail,
Yeah.
all at the same day.
Said, what am I gonna do for 10 days? Said, oh, you're gonna be sitting in a cell for them 10 days, bro. You're gonna have plenty of entertainment.
Oh yeah. Have to. Oh, bro. Look, there's a game we can play.
Y'all? It looks kind of interesting.
This mixtape eventually
Definitely
landed him a
looks
spot
like
on
that when you're playing
Complex's
it.
10 new Chicago
Yeah.
rappers to watch out for. In between the release of
Definitely
these two
not gonna be no
mixtapes,
Roblox
Chance would
graphics looking
acquire the
shit.
attention of Childish Gambino,
Yeah,
who
but-
invited him to be the opening act
Oh,
for
yeah,
his
Childish
first tour around
Gambino.
America.
Yeah. You like Childish Gambino?
Oh, yeah.
We're like big brothers.
I like that. This is America.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Don't
love
you kick
Chance.
it up?
I
Yeah,
love
that
Chance
one.
sometimes.
Police be tripping.
He's
though.
like, sometimes he's a dick, sometimes he's an asshole, but sometimes I love him too. Like, I get it.
This would be huge in Chance's development as a performer and artist, and by the time he completed acid rap the next year, he might as well have evolved into an entirely different person, leaving high school, his hometown, and his adolescence behind, and experiencing
I
a
did
life he
always
never
want
had before.
Chance's
And for his
number
efforts, he would
3
be
hat
greatly
or
rewarded,
whatever.
as
The
the likes
number
of
letter.
Pitchfork, Rolling Stone,
Number 30.
NPR, and many others would show
Think I know
very
what you're
high
talking
praise
about.
for the up-and-coming rapper.
The response to acid rap was expected to a certain degree. I always looked at acid rap as working towards something, but I didn't necessarily know what the end goal was, other than making a really dope project. You know, the response is always ill for other people to agree.
Acid rap also helped him grace the cover of the 2014 XXL freshman list.
Damn, he's
with
old.
the likes of Isaiah
didn't think he was
Rashad,
that
Lil
old.
Durk, and Kevin Gates.
Is there one
Oh,
moment
I remember
that
Kevin.
you two really
I got
say,
two.
This is like
Oh.
the moment.
Oh, one for the plug and one for the low. I got 2.
No, not
Oh, yeah.
Everything's like a step-by-step process, like with anything. But
That's what that song was really popular in
I don't know,
2014,
lessons that got me
2015.
here, and, hard work and shit.
Yeah, then he got locked up, didn't he?
I couldn't put
Yeah,
my finger
yeah,
on one moment.
you're
And
right.
it seemed like Chance had officially arrived in the game and
I
was
used to
making
have
some
that hat.
massive noise out of the Chicago area, along with acts like Mick Jenkins and Vic Mensa. But Chance was
Kinda
definitely
fucked
with
leading
that
the
shirt he
way.
had.
For the next couple of years,
Yeah.
he went
It
around
had,
performing and making the most of his
was
new
it Michael
opportunities
Jordan,
at
Michael
hand.
Jackson, and
People saw
Macaulay
major
Culkin
promise
on
in
it?
Chance as a pioneer in music, and in
clean.
2015 he would release Surf, a free album that he created with Donnie Trumpet and the Social Experiment.
Oh, I thought he was
I
about to
think
say
he's
Donnie
important
Trump.
because I think it's an independent way. I think what he's doing there.
Is
I just
that,
think it's so important. And also, I just think the whole
Tony
vibe
off
what
of,
they're doing, like, in terms of like the social experiment,
13
they're all
Reasons
mates,
Why?
kinda
No,
group
that's not
together,
him.
They're doing it for fun.
This would also be well received by the general public, and in August of the same year, he would release a collaborative mixtape with Little B titled Free. This would continue to keep his name in the blogs and help even more people pour into his fan base every single day. This was also around the time that he would get the attention of fellow Chicago native Kanye West, and Chance would even be essential in the creation of his 2016 critically acclaimed album, The Life of Pablo. After this, Chance would infamously say, "I met Kanye West, I'm never going to fail," which looking back might
See
have
that
been
number
some
3
bad
hat?
foreshadowing,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that later. You have to know that
Yeah,
Kanye
that
was
hat.
the man who inspired Chance to start listening to rap music
But,
in the first place.
Captain, I
after
don't
he
know
heard
yet.
his album, The College Dropout, when he was still a child.
Man, the first album I ever had was College Dropout. Kanye West.
course.
Wow.
04, yeah. I was
Everyone
in
from
5th
Chicago
grade,
had that.
and it was
God.
the first album I ever owned of my own. Yeah, it was a big thing for me. It was like, you know,
Were you
what I'm saying?
obsessed? Like, did you listen to it?
Did you ever buy an album?
Not a rap.
No.
I got old rock vinyls and shit.
Really? You got
Yeah.
Nicky Six in there?
Nah.
Ooh, too old for you, huh? You
I
thought I
guess
didn't
so.
know any rock? Thought I didn't know?
Nah, I got like all the classics, like some Guns N'
No
Roses,
Motley Crue?
Kiss. I got Motley Crue.
No Motley? That's
I got
what I'm
some Motley
saying.
Crue.
Nicky Six.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know Motley Crue.
Okay.
Nicky Six was the bass.
Okay.
And then you had fucking blonde dude as the singer. I forget the drummer's name.
Yeah, I totally forgot about all the names on that band.
Yeah, Motley Crue. I know Motley Crue because I don't know if you know, they had like a little movie or whatever on Netflix called The Dirt. Like, it was like when what was that dude's name? That freaking they were by the pool or whatever, and they like he smelled some ants. Oh fuck,
I don't
what's
know.
that dude's name?
I haven't heard
Ozzy Osbourne. That's his
Okay.
name.
Okay.
Ozzy.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
old Ozzy. He was in the
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah, he was in the movie.
Damn.
Well, he was portrayed in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, see,
but
I was trying to think of his name. I really like the drummer, Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee, yeah. I like Nikki. I always like Nikki.
Yeah,
But see,
that was you said that was the bass guy. Yeah.
bass guy, yeah. He's the one that had the Coca-Cola addiction. The Coca-Cola.
All I heard is that Coke addiction, and then I was like, oh wait.
Coca-Cola. But yeah, see, I know a little bit about
Yeah.
rock. A little bit, not a lot,
Yeah.
but I just know the Kiss and
Mhm.
Motley Crue really, and I knew about Ozzy Osbourne because of the puppies incident. That's not funny, bro. Why'd you just laugh at that?
Bro, what brought me to his attention is when I heard he like fucking chewed a bat's head off.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
I was like,
You know,
man, this guy, wow.
you know what I'm talking about when I say puppy incident.
I don't remember that one.
When he like, you'll have to look it up. Just look up Ozzy Osbourne puppy incident.
No, I bet.
Nonstop.
I recommend don't do it on stream.
No, I'm not.
So he must have been on the ultimate high to not only be working closely with his idol, but also be considered a valuable piece in the creation of his album and its vision. Like when a rookie gets a chance to play with LeBron, and they actually do well enough that he doesn't ship them to some poverty franchise.
Kanye West is like my first image of like, you know, a free black man in the industry, and I just always like,
chill.
you know, loved him for that. Loved his music, loved his creativity, but loved his voice, loved, you know, his fearlessness. And so working under him, working with him on his albums is crazy, but having him tell me that he wants to produce
I need
my
some
album,
clip-on mic so I can
come to
start
Chicago
doing
and work with me, it's like,
doing
So
vlogs.
Chance was riding this wave of hype like few artists we've seen before. It had been a long time since we saw a rapper with this type of momentum going into their debut album. So people really started to think he was going to be the next superstar in music. In early
I did.
2016, he would prove their speculation to be correct with his release of Coloring Book. This mixtape
Bro,
album,
I still listen to that album.
whatever you really want to call it, changed music forever, as it was released exclusively on Apple Music, and this was the first album to hit the Billboard charts solely based on streams. They even shut down the city of Chicago for this release, and he did this all while pushing this image of an independent grassroots artist, though I should note that is heavily speculated.
Chance has made his position very clear. Labels, independence, I'm independent, even if I don't believe he's independent. Yeah. Still, that's his flag that he's waving. He's been waving it for years, right?
Independence means with an in-house team, you own your own masters, you own your publishing, you do all your own distribution.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of attention on me not signing a record deal, but I also don't believe in publishing deals or traditional upper management style of, you know, of music being distributed. I get to choose how much my music costs. I get to choose when my music gets released. I choose when I go on tour.
Obviously, Coloring Book set the precedent for years to come, as nowadays streaming is where most artists accumulate the bulk of their album sales, and it is the main way that people digest music in general. At this time, Chance was absolutely the most marketable new artist on the block, receiving sponsorships from the likes of Sprite, H&M, Nike, New Era Cap, Nestle, and many others. You know how many kids I saw walking around with that stupid hat on my college campus? It was like this man could really do no wrong. He had his own unique style, he kept making good enough music to propel himself forward, he kept it independent, and he ultimately lived up to the massive hype of this third mixtape release, literally changing music consumption forever and leading the way. Like, let me put it this way. If acid rap had lit a small fire on a gas stove, then Coloring Book burned down the whole damn block. From here, Chance would continue riding the wave of massive success. He was winning Emmys, headlining
Damn,
the
he
biggest
almost
music
fell. Did you see
festivals
that?
with massive success. He was winning Emmys, headlining the biggest music festivals,
Had to lean
performing
into
on
that hug.
SNL, continuing to do
What?
his thing on various
You can say that
collaborations,
again.
and even getting involved with politics and social work in a major way, especially in his local Chicago community.
Keep my eyes focused on, the things that really affect us.
Chance, you
systemically,
always needed
which,
a haircut,
which
my
is worth a
boy.
lot. So to a certain degree, I have to be,
I guess I can't talk.
up to date on what's going on politically.
You do believe in making change and contributing to our public institutions, because you have created a fund that just donated, you raised and have donated $2.2 million to Chicago Public Schools.
Which was really no
That's not a
surprise,
lot.
as his
I
father
didn't hear that
himself
B
had
word.
high-ranking politically affiliated jobs back when Obama was the senator of Illinois. This seemed important to Chance from the very beginning, and he kept his promises in helping his people and spreading a message of anti-violence, which Chicago so desperately needed.
I don't believe in the parties. I believe in people, and, even with all my power, I'm just one vote, but that vote...
Bro, do you know where we're at right now?
What's that?
Like, like where we're at, like how
Like
can
in
I put
society?
this? No, like state-wise. Like we're top 3 in like murders. Like, well, we're close by it, and we work at that place.
Yep. I mean, you already heard about my high school problem at the mall, so I was just some dumb little redneck in a beat up truck, and that happened quick.
But you need to make a story time about that.
Nah.
When you get famous, yes, you have to.
If I get famous. But the bad thing is, I never even told my mom, my grandma, nobody that shit. It was just between me and my buddy. Nothing happened. I didn't have no money in the wallet, so I was like, you know what? He's gonna be disappointed when he goes around that corner and he opens that wallet and there's nothing. So he might have thought there was something in there since we were leaving the mall, but nah, I went to go browse. I didn't have no money.
Like, I'm gonna make my choice when somebody steps up.
He went on like this for years, helping people and also basking in the glow of all of his hard work and great music, and really showing himself to be a true testament of seeing massive success while remaining an independent artist with full creative control over his career. In 2018, he would head to Wyoming once again to try and repeat his magic he had with Kanye West, announcing that the two would be working on his next album, Good Ass Job.
Worked on Pablo with him,
Yes,
and
fire.
Good Ass Job
Life of
is in
Pablo.
the works.
Yeah.
I know that's a project you guys have talked about.
Yeah.
When can we expect that? Is that done?
It's definitely far from done. It's something that like gets brought up in conversation every once in a while.
But due to reasons unknown to the public, this album never saw the light of day, and it seems like the two began to have some distance between them in their personal relationship. After this, Chance's career would be turned upside down, and it all started when he announced that he would be releasing his debut album once again, only now under the name The Big Day, an album that centered around his love and marriage for his wife, Kirsten Corley, who he had recently gotten married to prior to the release of this album. Unlike all of his previous work, Chance would no longer care for the opinions of people he had around him before, like his former manager, and would choose to basically ride this one out with his brother and father being his sounding board for what was basically good. I mean, honestly, it sounds like he wanted a bunch of yes men around him for this project. This would be a costly decision, as The Big Day was met with massive criticism and social media ridicule. He would become a meme, as fans and skeptics alike joined in on hating this album, telling him things like he needed to go back to the acid, that they missed the old him, and basically that his Linsanity run was over. In short, people felt that the album was inconsistent in terms of its quality and lacked the cohesion of his previous work. Some
Hate that
critics
dude.
also felt
I
the
don't
album's
hate that
22
dude, but-
tracks were too
Hey,
long,
Tony?
and that his attempt to
And
balance
Tony
his
sometimes,
personal
yeah,
life
he gets
and his
annoying.
music didn't
Yeah.
always come together effectively. We already knew Chance was sensitive to naysayers, as in years past he had critical articles about himself removed from the internet, so it was clear the hate was really getting to him, even going back and forth with a couple of random fans on Twitter in some very petty arguments. Even worse, Chance was then struggling to sell tickets to his big day tour, and eventually, after trying to downsize venues, canceled the tour altogether. This would be the beginning of his dissension, as
Dang.
soon he would find himself being sued by his former manager for millions of dollars, a man named Pat, who he said knew that the big day was going to be the biggest mistake of Chance's career. It was almost like overnight, his whole trajectory as an artist and potential icon changed.
Indeed,
He went
Juan.
from being seen as the people's champ to the meme of the month. And this was all like the perfect storm that manifested into a hurricane to damage his career forever. Like I said previously, it's never good for a rapper to become a meme. And he was never really the same after this, as it has now been almost 4 years since he released The Big Day, and since this moment, despite dropping some really good music, there was more of a return to form. Chance's name has completely cooled off, as a fraction of the people who were previously awaiting his music care at this point. And now recently, videos have surfaced of him dancing wildly with women in the streets of Jamaica, which his wife very subtly took shots at him for on Instagram. And now he is once again being
Idiot.
memed into eternity after making an album about how much he loves his wife, and then a couple years later being seen in public acting like this. So considering all this information, what do you guys think? Can Chance still come back with another great album, or did he blow his chance to be a superstar years ago? Maybe you even think this was just an...
He waited a little bit too long, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
4 years on an album? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Especially when
that's
you're
a whole fucking high school.
Yeah, bro. Especially
decade,
when you're
like-
going through 2016.
Yeah, for
So,
real.
wait. No. 2014 to 14, 15, 16.
Yeah,
No.
I graduated
Something
in
like that.
18, so like that would have been
Yeah.
all through my high school. That
Because
would have been a
that,
good chance I would have been bopping to that.
Yeah, bro. The Red album, I remember a little bit in high school, but you know that's way too long to capitalize on your clout. Just look at what you got to do now. That's his fault.
Yup.
That's his fault. I mean, what was he doing? Stupid, idiot. Just pissed me off just thinking about
Big
that.
old goofy.
How you just let all your clout just die like that?
No, man.